Come out to VWatts Furniture for a day at the Country Fair with Mom. Aim, throw, and save up to 30% off. Celebrate with Mom at the Country Fair this Saturday at VWatts Furniture.
Drive a little, save a lot. VWatts Furniture.
And welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Weekly Show, a podcast brought to you by the Livingston Parish News. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news, and today I have a good friend in the booth, also a business associate, and I'm going to let him introduce himself because I will not do it justice.
My name is James Adam McCants from Sporting Center, Denham Springs, Louisiana.
Good deal, and I'm here to talk to you about the Revengers Initiative. So today we're actually going to be talking about a lot of things that go on in Sporting Center, and what I love about your shop is that y'all do a lot. I mean, you really do, and it's not just about the fact that y'all have a huge breadth of offerings, but y'all want to get it done for the customer.
Absolutely.
You want to serve the customer. You want to, whenever you walk in, if you're talking to anybody, if it's you, someone in the back, Stacy himself, your wife Danielle, it's you're trying to get these customers exactly what they want.
Absolutely.
And so, one of the interesting things that y'all have now is a laser engraver.
Yes, sir.
And this process started a couple of years back, but you have already outgrown your first piece of equipment.
Yes, sir.
You bought a bigger one. So, first and foremost, I want to hear, when did you first learn about laser engraving and wanted to get into this?
Well, McHugh, at the store, we have a whole production portion of our business that a lot of people really just don't even know about. Even though a lot of people know that we do screen printing and monogramming, they think it's just for athletic apparel, but it really goes way beyond that. In fact, a lot of our business is actually commercial business to business, helping promote people's brand, helping promote their business, helping them become successful in what they do through marketing, and that would be apparel and promotional products. And since the big shift, probably, 10, 15 years ago is when it really kind of started as far as brick and mortar stores, retail, being on the back end, whereas online orders and such kind of have taken the forefront as far as your standard retail business goes. We realize that production capabilities, our abilities to be able to do something that's not just quote unquote off the rack, is really what's going to, help us to maintain and thrive as a business. And we kind of started looking at different ways that we can enhance our production capabilities. First, we brought on a sign machine, and we do a lot of signs, banners, and things like that, decals and such, which was very successful. And, we're at a point where we decided, hey, look, we definitely have the space in the building, but also we've got capabilities to expand the kind of production we do. And we really weren't sure exactly what we wanted to do or how we wanted to do it. And we took out an ad in the Yellow Pages or something like that, and they kind of watched all the parametrics as far as what people were asking for when they were searching online, and came up with us. And probably one of the largest things, in fact, I know it was one of the largest things, was engraving on various items. Now, we've always done, I say always, probably since the early 80s, have done drag engraving, which is like plates on trophies, plates on plaques, things like that. But it was very one-dimensional. It was, simplistic. And even though people knew that we could do that, we ended up getting more and more calls for odd items, like wooden items, decorative stuff, round things like cups and, various sports balls and things like that. And the drag engraver just couldn't do it. So it kind of was just logical for us to move that direction as far as production goes. We kind of started looking into different laser engravers and machines and so on and so forth. And I think we found our fit and dove in full-fledged in the beginning of 2020.
So, the first machine you bought was smaller than the one you have now. You kind of had a bet that you were going to have to put together enough volume, and if you made your timeline right, your deadline, y'all were going to order a bigger one, and clearly y'all made it.
Absolutely.
So tell us about just a few things before we get into the bigger engraver.
Sure.
Tell us about a couple of things you started off with.
Well, the first things that we really gained traction with was tumblers, just like the one you're holding right now. The insulated tumbler is something that everybody has multiples of. And the thing about that is, even though you may try to keep your eye on your tumbler, there's any kind of public event, any kind of gathering, there's probably 2 or 3 tumblers that are really just like the one that you've got. So customization becomes more like a, hey, that's my cup, get your hand off my cup type situation. And on top of that, it's great promotions for businesses, put their logo on it, something that people will actually use. And that's kind of the angle that we push towards. And that's probably the highest volume thing that we've done with that smaller machine. Of course, we do a lot of stuff with charcuterie boards, cutting boards, things like that. Which
the
is
adult lunchable.
The adult lunchable, absolutely, complete with the designer wooden carrier.
Absolutely.
We've done
hey,
a lot.
I like charcuterie boards. Okay, I mean, I'm making fun of myself there. So, with the smaller one, I picked on you before, and I said I'm going to ask you about what is the science behind laser engraving. But I do want to ask, when you're setting it up, it's almost like setting up a drawing, and then a computer recognizes the drawing and etches it onto whatever surface, as long as it'll fit. Correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
So, first and foremost, let me ask, how good did you feel about being able to pull that off, being able to meet those goals and upgrade?
Well, McHugh, I felt like, honestly, we could have gone with the larger machine from get-go. Now, the economics of the smaller machine compared to the larger machine, when you're, jumping into something for the first time, huge difference.
Sure.
Huge difference. A lot of numbers added on to the larger machine. And, on top of that, we kind of wanted to make sure not only did we really have the market for it here and could we really make it work, but also make sure that it's something that we wanted to do and we're going to be able to employ people to run the machine. So instead of making a, large initial investment, it was just a kind of large initial investment,
Sure. So when you reached that point, you ordered the new machine. Did it expand what you can do?
Oh, absolutely.
So, you talked about tumblers, wood type engraving, and that sort of thing. Give us an example of something that you were able to expand into.
Well, one thing, and it kind of fits right in with the niche that we have at Sporting Center, is we're able to engrave on leather products. So when someone buys a baseball glove, they can immediately either get their name or their number engraved onto it. So again, there's a lot of baseball gloves that look a lot alike.
Sure.
And also people love things customized. People love to have things personalized. So that was something immediately that we were able to start offering and people jumped on pretty quickly, as well as initially on bats.
Oh, okay.
When you got a $350 investment and there's 4 more in the dugout, it's nice to be able to say, oh, J.A., no, this one's mine, dude.
Yeah.
And tuck it in your bat bag and roll on.
Right, because I mean, there's probably, since you and I have played, there's not as much competition in the bat industry anymore. I would imagine they look a lot alike.
Yeah.
So it's I can imagine that would be a helpful addition. It's like, hey, you just made this investment in this $50 glove and this $350 bat. Let us engrave your kid's initials on them or his name on them, and that way you'll never have to worry about it.
That's absolutely right.
What else? Anything else of large caliber?
Well, as mentioned with the glove, leatherette items and leather items, you're talking anything from books to journals, jotters, things like that. People love to have personalized. And you can order, of course, any number of designs and things that may be on one from Amazon, or go to Office Depot and see what they have, but none of them are going to have your name on it. It's not like the keychain in the beachside store that you're just going to find the book with James Adam on it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's been a huge thing. And wood decor, really. There's a gentleman that has a cypress shop in the antique district, and he sends people down all the time because they'll buy these, cypress floater logs and various things that they go to put on their wall. And although the piece is beautiful enough as it is, again, people love to have things personalized. Their last name, for gifts for other people, weddings, things like that. That's another thing right there. Bridesmaid gift and groomsman gift. There's just a plethora of things you can go through and personalize it with either their name or maybe even the date of the wedding or whatever. It's just the options and the opportunity was there. We saw it for sure.
Sure. Yeah. And well, clearly it was because, well, I don't want to say clearly. You did your research. You bought a piece. Clearly it worked out.
Sure.
So it grew into something bigger. So is there a place where, before we jump into sort of the second section of this, is there a place where people can kind of go see what is offered, maybe online, or should they come into the store?
Really, the best thing to do is to come into the store. We are actually updating our website to kind of show some of the pieces that we've done previously, but everything is, it's almost like there's too many options to be able to say, well, look, here's the catalog right here. Now, we do have a display case in the store, and we also have been working really hard as far as promoting things on social media. But there's a little trick to that as well, because a lot of the things that we do are gifts. So we can't just be blasting somebody's gift that may or may not have received it yet on social media.
Sure.
And, so that's a little tricky too. So what we're doing is kind of developing a plan as far as the items that we're doing, that we're taking pictures of and that we're documenting, or whatever, however you want to put it, kind of putting a lag, like a 3 or 4 week lag behind that. So hopefully the person has either received the gift, or enough time has elapsed to where maybe it's not quite as pertinent to keep things under the table, so to speak.
Right.
You don't want to go.
You didn't ruin anybody's day.
That's right. That's right.
And piss off a potential repeat customer.
Indeed.
So what's interesting about all this to me is this is one facet of what y'all do at Sporting Center. And for those of you listening, those of you watching, as you can see, a lot of passion going into just one facet of a business. So from there, let's pivot to Sporting Center as a whole. Okay. There's everything from a retail portion up front. Mm-hmm. As you mentioned, there's a shop in the back. The building is bigger than you think.
Yes.
It almost seems hidden, but it is. It's huge. Y'all do a lot of things. Having after a recent accident, a little bit of a remodel. But talk a little bit. I think the best way to do it is to sort of visualize it as, let's start up front and work our way back.
Sure.
So let's talk about the retail area first.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No. After you, sir.
Indeed. We try to have as many different options and as many different things that people can come in and not only buy the stuff that their kid may need to play, with, like, right now, a perfect example, baseball season is really kind of kicking off as far as the recreational level goes. They can come in, get everything that they need for their kid to come out and play, but also have different things for the parents as well, like apparel and such, that they can customize, get their kids' name or number on the back of, maybe if the team has a team name as opposed to just, green Live Oak team, they can, get that customized as well. So not only are we outfitting the players, but we're also outfitting the fans too.
Sure. And you also have, you can do full-on uniforms for whole teams. You do, let's see, I'm trying to mentally work through here. Trophies, of course. You mentioned those earlier, but there is a whole section right to the left, or at least it was. I don't know if it will be after the remodel.
Sure.
But I'm sorry. For those of you who don't know, there was an accident at the store about 8 weeks ago, and they've been very diligently working with a contractor to get things a little redone. But they do wonderful trophies. Y'all offer just about any option you possibly can. I know I personally brought my fantasy football trophy up there to get engraved and sent off. He got it. Looks great. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
We do a pay it forward system in my fantasy football league. The previous champion puts the new champion's name and year on it and ships it to him. So it was my year to do that. So moving forward, there's, of course, all of the equipment. Mm-hmm. That's also available. Y'all even have, like, basic apparel.
Oh, absolutely. You can get anything as simple as, polo, T-shirt, so on, and school uniforms. That's a huge thing as well. In Livingston Parish, they do have school uniforms that are approved that all the kids have to wear from kindergarten all the way through senior year. And one thing that we offer that most, especially brick and mortar stores around this area, is the fact that we carry them 12 months out of the year.
Right.
So you don't necessarily have to think ahead and think, okay, well, little Bobby is a size 6 right now, but he may be a size 8 come winter, so we'll go ahead and buy him now. So you don't have to worry about that. As seasons change, you can come in and we keep full inventory. So as not only they grow and the season change, they need long sleeves or short sleeves, whatever, we've got them there in store.
Yeah, I had to come through there to buy a couple of shorts for my kid because he grew 7 inches between August.
They do that,
and
man.
February of this year.
You feed them and water them, and
I know,
like
they
weeds.
just grow.
Yeah.
It's like a plant. So that kind of there are some novelty items too. I do want to bring that up. You'll have novelty items for some of the local college teams and that kind of deal. So and I do want to stress, I mean, within reason, and from a retail perspective, y'all can get just about anything anybody wants.
Really so. I mean, there's so many different, here we go again with using the word options and opportunities, but there really are. We have a network of manufacturers and distributors that we order from. So just about anything on this earth that you can find anywhere else, you can find with us. We may not have it in inventory. We may have to order it, but usually it's a very short wait. So
also want to remind folks, when we talk about equipment, that does include cleats. You'll have a cleat section.
Correct.
Do y'all sell shoes as well? I can't remember.
We sell a handful of specialty shoes, sometimes maybe in team colors like purple and gold, green and gold, things like that. We actually just started offering, we have a manufacturer that we order customized shoes from. So we've actually right now have flip-flops and slides with Walker, Live Oak, and Denham logos on them. And
very cool.
We're going to have some running shoes as well coming in, same situation, just something that very cool little novelty items, but it's not necessarily, collegiate or professional. It's local schools, which I thought was really cool.
And do want to add that there are changing rooms, so you can make sure that either you or your kid fits in what you purchase. At the back of the retail area is what I like to call the creative desk. That's usually where you can find you guys when you walk in, working with a customer, working through engraving, sign tech, putting things on shirts and stuff like that. That seems to kind of be the nucleus of the creative juices as they're flowing in Sporting Center. So tell us a few things about it. Well, I've covered a lot of it, but I mean, y'all do signs as well, which
Absolutely
is interesting. So cover a few things we haven't yet.
Well, the thing about it is, and I've kind of mentioned or touched on it earlier, but it's not just limited to putting your kid's name and number on a jersey or a shirt or your shirt. We have a couple different processes where you can come in with even the most simple design or something even more complex. And instead of having to order 12 minimum like you would in screen printing or, having to invest all this money in setups and so on and so forth, you can actually get one-offs done. So if say your fantasy football league, they have some kind of catchy name with a little simple logo that you want to, you're the one who won. So when you go to draft next year, you want to be wearing the shirt with the logo and champ on the back or whatever. We can handle that right there. It's not something that you have to delve in and make this huge investment on just to have a one-time novelty shirt,
Sure. I will not announce the name of our fantasy football league here in public, but I do get that actually. At the year after I won, the next year I was not first. And
dethroned, so to speak.
Yes, and I drafted Joe Burrow first, and on the pre-draft, I sent a picture to everybody in the league, and I had on the robe with the cigar and the hat that said, what it said, and if you know what I'm talking about, what the hats they were wearing after the national championship. So, not going to repeat that in public. So moving back, that covers the retail area. That's a lot. Y'all already do a lot, but now you move back. There's sort of a consultation area in between the retail area and the production part of the business. So obviously, if you need a little bit more time and consultation than you can get at the creative desk, you bring them in the back, sit at a table. Let's walk into the factory floor.
Sure.
I guess you can call it. It's a very large space, a lot of different pieces of equipment. And I know the laser engravers inside to the left. And, kind of take it away from there.
Well, when you walk into the warehouse, everybody, when the first time they go back there, it's just like, whoa, because you don't realize that huge portion of our business, which is really the driving force more than anything, even exists. You think that, through that door past the consultation room, like you were explaining, would be like outside in a dumpster. But you go through and it's, machines, equipment, people, hustle, bustle,
Yeah.
We've got the sign shop, which is where the laser engraver is located, but it also has our digital printer that prints appliques for signs, banners, like we were talking about, decals and things like that. there's a plethora of different products basically, or decorative forms that machine itself can produce. And then of course you got the laser engravers like discussed, and on the other side we've got monogram machines. We've got a 6-head monogram machine, no, I'm sorry, 8-head monogram machine, and 2 single heads, and those things are constantly throwing needles and thread around. Anything from polos to, we got a stack of graduation sashes right now where we're putting logos and commendations and so on and so
Very
forth
cool.
on. Yeah, definitely. And of course, like I said, polos, jackets. We do a lot of pillowcases, things like that. Just anything that we even do shower curtains. People get these.
That's wild.
I know. It's not the plastic one that actually keeps the water in, but you know how they have that decorative outside one.
Sure.
Dude, we do loads of initials, and everybody loves initials on everything.
Right.
Book sacks. We even put initials on, Chuck Taylor's. People bring those in and have them done. Just all kind of crazy stuff. Basically, I tell people all the time, if anything will sit still long enough, we'll figure out a way to decorate it for sure. And as our production capabilities increase, that's becoming easier and easier to do. Really.
Want to add, just because your dog will sit still, it cannot be decorated. do not bring it in to be decorated.
Now, if it breathes, we try not to, regardless of how long it can sit.
So, what's interesting here, when you kind of start at the beginning and walk through the whole store into the production facility, it's really about how creative you want to get.
That's right.
With anything that you want to decorate. And one of the things I think that you've kind of explained as you were talking about, getting excited about learning about the laser engraver and using it, is that if anybody has an idea or comes up with an idea, if there's enough market for it, y'all will grow into it.
Absolutely.
So, tell us a little bit about some of the target audiences that you have right now, and some people that, you just like to have a chance to talk to.
Sure. Yeah, we do a lot with service industry right now, particularly restaurants. We do between all the different things that we offer, anything from paper print, maybe menus, coupons, flyers, whatever, all the way through outfitting the staff, may it be servers, hostess, kitchen crew, then signs that go out front in the restaurant. Of course, we had a huge surge of, drive up signs that were done about a year ago for all the restaurants that were beginning to get back on their feet, but couldn't do dine in, but curbside pickup. We did a lot of stuff for that. And there's a lot of other things as far as promotional items and so on that we can do with restaurants. So restaurants are already a pretty big sector of our business as far as sector of our clientele goes. Basically, it's really tough, and I hate to be like we should do anything for anybody. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, I go to these trade shows every year, and it's basically like a promotional products boot camp where the first couple of days is education, where they bring in all these different people, from different sides of the business to teach, this, that, and the other. And then, of course, they got the trade show floor. And one thing that ever since I've gone to these, which has been 8-10 years now, and I pretty much go to one a year, they preach about find your niche, find one particular type of business or one particular, industry, and stick with it and become the best at this, that, and the other. And although I think we're pretty good at being able to facilitate everyone, a lot of people sucked air this time last year because their niche that they focused on, they don't know anything about anything else, was shut down. And some of them are still shut down. I personally, it may be the ADD in me, but I like knowing a little bit about everything. I love, the fact that, of what's become a very good friend of mine, that's a client of ours, comes in and I'll learn about the paint industry. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And then right behind that, I have a guy who comes in that has a cleaning service that has, 40 different cleaning crews that work underneath him. And I find out a little bit about it. I just like entrepreneurship. So it kind of really interests me when someone comes in to talk about things like that, because I want to dig in. I want to find out, how does that really work? You think, paint. I mean, what can be in paint? How could there be so many different paint companies and paint in every box home improvement store and this, that, and the other. And then you kind of find out, you scratch the surface and figure out the way that things work and how they do. And it just interests me. I like doing that.
Sure. And I'm going to guess you're talking about Jim.
Yeah.
From Farrell Calhoun Paint.
Jim Chapman. That's right.
And if anybody knows paint, Jim knows paint.
Oh, absolutely.
Jim has a lot to tell. And Jim was actually one of the first podcasts we did. This room looked a lot different.
Yeah.
But we did a story on him as well. God, that was 2018. Oof, time flies.
Indeed it does.
So, Jim is good friends here with Mr. James, and I know that he goes in there a lot. T-shirts, marketing materials, and that sort of thing. So
he's the self-proclaimed king of swag.
Yeah.
Which that's what I'm looking for. I want self-proclaimed kings and queens of swag. That's what I'm looking for. If you like stuff, send them my way.
You can get it made.
Absolutely.
And I mean, what is it they say? There is no better marketing piece than a T-shirt.
Absolutely. That is what they claim to be the original promotional product is a T-shirt.
Right. Because, everybody needs a T-shirt.
That's right.
They're going to wear them.
That's right.
So anything you'd like to say, sort of wrapping up? Anybody you want to see walk through that door in the next week?
Anybody and everybody, honestly. Again, I hate to be so vague about it, but I just, like I said, I just love working with people, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be businesses. With summertime kicking off, you've got a lot of different summer camps coming up. The thing about it is, not only can we outfit all your campers, but we can also make signs for where the campers need to go. We can make flyers to make sure that the parents are finding out what's coming up and what needs to be done. We even make custom yard games like cornhole boards and giant Jenga, something to entertain the kids. And then, summertime coming up, you got a lot of traveling. I would say probably anybody looking to make some vacation shirts, maybe if the group's going out. You got church camps, so on and so forth. I mean, McHugh, it's tough to nail it down, but
sure,
the more the better. Whoever wants to come see us.
Right. Come be clever. I guess you could say come be creative. So again, sir, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, if you will.
James Adam McCants with Sporting Center, Denham Springs, Louisiana, located right here on South Range Avenue at 205 South Range.
And what's the tag?
Your business means everything to us because your name rides on everything we do.
And my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys joining us and listening about Mr. James Adam McCants and his business. Of course, if you are a local business and you'd like to get on this podcast, you can email me at mchugh@lpn1898.com. I am publisher and editor of the news. We are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print on Thursdays. That's $7 a month to get that in your mailbox. We're also online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. These podcasts go out to all podcast platforms. We use Anchor FM as our distribution hub. We also put them on our website, /podcast. We do hope you have a great day. Remember, if you're looking to be creative, if you want to give a specialized gift, or if you just got a kid that's playing some sports, go check out Sporting Center and this guy over here, and we will see you next time.